The Jefferson County Historical Commission, as part of its 2021 Historic Preservation Symposium, is pleased to present this video called Colorado Arts and Crafts Society's Gathering of the Guilds, presented by Cynthia Shaw. Since its establishment as a volunteer nonprofit organization in 1997, the Colorado Arts and Crafts Society continues to honor and promote the aesthetic and philosophical legacy of the original arts and crafts movement in the Rocky Mountain region and beyond. One of the Society's most popular events is its Gathering of the Guilds, an annual show, sale, and symposium featuring local artists exhibiting and selling their works evocative of this fascinating period in the history of design. Cynthia Shaw has an undergraduate degree in creative writing and journalism. In 1986, she moved to Colorado, where she worked for Historic Boulder, Zimmerman Hand Architects and Communication Arts. Joining the staff of the Betcher Mansion in 1995, she served as its director from 2000 through 2018. Cynthia has been a member of the Jefferson County Historical Commission since 2010 and has held the positions of chair, vice chair, Education and Events Committee co-chair, and Nominating Committee chair. She also regularly contributes to the Historical Commission's magazine, Historically Jeffco.
My name is Cynthia Shaw, and I'm here to tell you about an educational experience that forever changed the course of my life. Years ago, while in grad school, I took 2 inaugural classes on the American and the English arts and crafts movement. I immediately fell head over heels for the architecture, the decorative arts, the people, and the philosophy behind this extraordinary period in the American design world. Here's the backstory. Today, the appreciation for hand-wrought versus machine-made items continues, as evidenced by the many practitioners, publications, and programs devoted to the movement's aesthetics, a distinct style of artistry inspired by nature's organic forms and most commonly articulated in clay, fiber, glass, metal, paper, or wood. One especially enthusiastic local entity emerged in 1997 as the Colorado Arts and Crafts Society. CACS is an independent nonprofit run by a passionate board of directors and a heady mix of volunteers intent on advocating the tenets of the movement's earliest proponents, particularly within our centennial state. Recognizing the need to unite within the Rocky Mountain region, the organization set out to bring kindred spirits together with the mission of educating the public through lectures, special events, and field trips. In 1998, CACS launched its Bungalow Workshops, an interactive show, sale, and symposium dedicated to rekindling the bungalow fever of the 1900s, when aspiring homeowners could view detailed elevations and floor plans published in period magazines and even order complete kits of building parts from catalogs like the Craftsman and Sears Roebuck to be transported and delivered to any town serviced by train. Featuring architects and interior designers offering renovation and restoration services, along with antiques dealers and modern-day makers exhibiting and selling appropriate decor, the colloquium was enthusiastically supported by 3 local retailers: Davis & Shaw, a longtime Larimer Square store that closed in 2005, Stickley Audi & Company, a Syracuse, New York-based manufacturer with a national presence and 2 outlets in Colorado, and Denver's one-of-a-kind modern bungalow shop. After several years at the splendid 1906 El Jebel Shrine in downtown Denver, this innovative forum was rechristened the Gathering of the Guilds, hearkening back to medieval times when skilled workers were respected, if not revered, for their time-honored travail. It was then hosted for nearly a decade at the Betcher Mansion atop Lookout Mountain, a Jefferson County-owned National Register landmark whose arts and crafts characteristics provided the perfect backdrop for this joyful melange of consumers and craftsfolk. A few years ago, after a series of spring snowstorms, the Gathering of the Guilds moved down to a more central location, the American Mountaineering Center, whose building served as Golden's first high school from 1924 to 1956. Although the COVID-19 pandemic sadly precluded any in-person activity or public engagement in 2020 and 2021, the event is back on the calendar for April of next year. The cost of admission is $5, with participants typically including a diverse mix of independent artisans and guilds specializing in botanical illustration, calligraphy, ceramics, fiber, leather, metal, painting, printing, and woodworking, to name just a few. Many of the vendors will also speak and/or offer live demonstrations of their specialty throughout the day. Nearly a quarter century since its beginning, the Colorado Arts and Crafts Society continues to adhere to its original goal of celebrating and supporting our abundant wellspring of local talent by offering a platform to highlight each one's unique methodology and skill set. But with fall fully in the air and a long winter ahead of us, there's still plenty of downtime to tell the full story on how the organization got started and how it has progressed over time. Welcome to Colorado, the centennial state famous for its Rocky Mountains rich in gold and silver, and somewhat less known for its superlative collection of vernacular architecture, decorative arts, and other aesthetic expressions celebrating the American arts and crafts movement as it blew across the plains to the peaks more than 100 years ago. My name is Cynthia Shaw. When I began my career at the Betcher Mansion 25 years ago, the idea of creating the Colorado Arts and Crafts Society was something of a pipe dream. With a master's in architectural history and preservation, I was already passionate about the philosophy, principles, and products of the original arts and crafts movement, sparked by widespread resistance to the ramifications the Industrial Revolution had on age-old guilds and trades in Europe and America. As luck would have it, in my longtime position as director, I had a rare and real opportunity to actually put this knowledge into context. The mansion was built in 1917 as Lorraine Lodge, a secluded mountaintop retreat for Charles Betcher, a German immigrant who became one of Colorado's most prolific entrepreneurs. Inhabited by 3 generations of family members for more than 50 years, in the late 1960s, the handcrafted stone and timber estate was bequeathed to Jefferson County for public use and enjoyment. By the time it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1984, the rustic compound had adapted into an events venue striving and sometimes struggling to be self-sustaining. One of my earliest objectives was to garner moral and monetary support for the aging property. But before seeking or securing funding for any future rehabilitation or stewardship projects, it was clear the mansion first had to prove it was more than just a rental hall. Realizing that raising widespread cultural awareness of its craftsman-style heritage was the key to success, a plan was formulated to establish an independent organization made up of volunteers dedicated to the study and promotion of this fascinating and far-reaching period, circa 1880 to 1920, in design and social reform. Casting a wide net to draw in kindred spirits, it was validating to see how many fellow aficionados appeared out of the woodwork to help with such a noble cause. By 1998, CACS was formally incorporated as a 501c3 with a diverse board of directors and more than 100 enthusiastic members. And with a strong symbiotic relationship already forged with the mansion, the Society began hosting a variety of presentations at its informal headquarters. These early forums were well attended and helped pave the way for a series of grant awards from the Betcher Foundation for interior furnishings and exterior displays, the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District for educational programs, the Colorado State Historical Fund for structural assessments, and ultimately the Conservation Trust Fund, which gifted several $1 million to the property for a stunning, comprehensive capital improvement plan completed in 2007. 10 years later, on a beautiful midsummer's night, the iconic landmark celebrated its 100th birthday amid much fanfare. Having worked its magic at the mansion, the Society began to spread its wings to expand its membership base and other opportunities. An early one was the successful blocking of CU Boulder's controversial plan to raise an enclave of original bungalows in the adjacent Grandview Terrace neighborhood back in 2000. We quickly built up a loyal cadre of friends and followers, enjoying such benefits as a quarterly newsletter, annual gatherings, and periodic field trips and walking tours in and around the Denver metro area. Soon, our best-known signature events had become the Winter Symposium, featuring national experts leading workshops and/or lecturing on various aspects of arts and crafts, aesthetics, and history, and the Spring Gathering of the Guilds, a show and sale highlighting accomplished artists and craftspeople. CACS has always been blessed in its ability to attract an impressive range of academics, authors, and other authorities as its keynote speakers and teachers. Special thanks to Richard Guy Wilson, David Rago, Dart Hunter, Paul Ducher, Ralph Kylo, Don Hall, Tommy and Beth Ann McPherson, Bruce Smith, Jane Powell, Diane Ayers, Jack Walsdorf, Bruce Bradbury, Ann Chavez, Mary Walker, Laura Wilder, Jim Spates, and so many others. It helps, too, that more than half our board is made up of practitioners, 3 of whom also belong to the Roy Crofters at-Large Association. So while the challenges of 2020 have certainly forced our stalwart group to reevaluate and reinvent some of our long-standing traditions, we have zoomed forward with virtual meetings and digital publishing and are always searching for new ways to stay on top of the world. Looking back on more than 2 decades of collaborative ingenuity and interaction that epitomize the perfect fusion of head, heart, and hand, I have no doubt that the Colorado Arts and Crafts Society will continue to persevere for posterity. Thank you.